Hello, my name is Jay Woods of Freedom Capital Markets. I'm the Chief Global Strategist, and today, welcome to our latest installment of Freedom Fireside Chats. We are happy to welcome two technology pioneers in in-flight connectivity. We are joined by Gilat President Commercial Division, Ron Levin. Hello, Ron. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you, Jay?
I'm great. Thank you for joining us. And Tracy Trent, President of Gilat Stellar Blu. Tracy, how are you?
Good, Jay. How are you, man?
All right, excellent. For those watching, we're here to discuss the big news, the news of Gilat's recent acquisition of Stellar Blu, the buzz about this combination, what it means for this combined entity going forward, and how you're poised to expand. So before we do a deep dive, I want Ron to start with you. Tell us a little bit about Gilat, what's driving demand for IFC, and your role at Gilat.
Yeah, so as you said, Jay, I'm the president of Gilat's commercial division. I've been with the company for just over 13 years. Gilat is a global provider of SATCOM technology, mainly ground segment technology. We've been around since 1987. We're about 1,200 people worldwide in roughly 20 countries. In terms of networks, we have about 300 SATCOM networks deployed, over 100 countries, and we're a traded company on the NASDAQ and the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange. The verticals that we serve are enterprise markets, cellular backhaul, mobility, including IFC, as we just mentioned, and the government and defense market.
Awesome. And Tracy, you have a fascinating background as well, especially in aviation technology. You share a little bit with the audience about your background and Stellar Blu and what attracted you to the partnership with Gilat.
Sure. I'm a technology guy through and through, entrepreneur. I've always liked networking together big things, planes, trains, trucks. That's the thing that kind of makes me go. And when we started Stellar Blu, the whole idea was to try and do something disruptive into the aviation connectivity space. At the time, it was kind of a crazy idea. We called it the unlock cell phone for SATCOM, but was the ability to give aircraft operators the ability to put a SATCOM terminal on the airplane and then mix and match as technology evolved. We thought it was a fascinating idea. We were very fortunate to get some good partners that believed in that concept, and really, really fortunate that this whole shift around low Earth orbit SATCOM networks was really the extra juice to kind of make it go. Gilat worked with us in some of our key accounts, very rich technology portfolio. So we saw it as an ability to take our strategy and go to the next level with some scale.
Yeah, and shareholders seem to approve of the deal. The stock is up 20% year to date as we tape this. It's funny because when we did prep for this call, a while back, I don't know if you remember this, Ron, but you were on a plane. So you were using your technology as we were taping this, and it was perfect. Now, I want to get a little deeper in the weeds, the role of low Earth orbit satellites in the IFC market. So LEOs, you mentioned SkyEdge. How are you positioned to capitalize in that market, and what markets excite you the most now that you guys are a combined entity?
So when we look at the market, you mentioned the low Earth orbit. Obviously, that's one of the orbits today, and when most of the satellite communication is actually coming from a geostationary orbit or geo orbit. When we look at the advantages of both orbits, so low Earth orbit obviously gives you lower latency and ability to run applications that you might not be able to do on a geo satellite. The geo satellite, on the other hand, gives a lot of flexibility in the usage of bandwidth. So together, if you're using multi-orbit, you can use the advantages of both GEO and LEO orbits. And that, I think, is what's exciting in this market today, the ability to support all of the constellations that are coming, as well as the existing satellites out there. And really, the goal is to allow people to be connected wherever they are.
Ron, according to your website, 7,000 aircrafts across 25 airlines globally. Am I getting that right?
That's pretty much where the market is today, but we're expecting that to grow exponentially within the next few years.
Yeah, so with Stellar Blu technology, how many more systems could you potentially install, and what is the impact to your bottom line?
The potential over time is for thousands and thousands of planes. As more commercial planes get connected, people just want to be connected everywhere they are, including on flights, and more planes are getting these technologies. This is also true for business aviation, where there are still also even tens of thousands of planes that don't have connectivity today. So that's a huge potential for us in this market.
And Tracy, how does this bolster Stellar Blu's technology roadmap and commercial ambitions? What does it mean for you?
I think for us, we play in an industry where these guys operate huge fleets of aircraft. They expect to have big, stable suppliers. And so that fact that we can now transition from a technology startup slash innovator and pick up all of Gilat's scale for manufacturing, the modem technology, everything that they're doing with SkyEdge. We can now piece together a much more comprehensive solution for our customers. And our couple biggest customers also happen to buy from Gilat already. And so it was just a natural fit for us to be able to do more for the customers and have a lot more staying power. And with that staying power, I think our relationships with people like Boeing and Airbus will only get better.
Now, let's talk a little bit more about the future. In-flight connectivity, but the defense sector is a big market. Trains, land mobility, where do you see the next wave of growth being from any of those sectors?
The interesting thing is we developed this technology. We started putting it on commercial aircraft. One of the things we saw is that the low Earth orbit network really allows some applications to perform a lot better. And so we started looking at the defense space and specifically in the intelligence and surveillance type of aircraft that were out there. And so we've started to make some really solid progress. We've gotten a couple of awards with U.S. federal integrators to equip aircraft for that ISR mission. So we're super excited about that as we go into this next year. We've also been fortunate to also secure a couple of head of state airplanes. Same thing there is the mission of having very consistent, always on global connectivity. So we'll do a few aircraft there. I think the difficult balance for us is the farm team and the mainstream market. So there's so much that we're doing on the airline side, the ability to go ahead and start looking at these new markets. You mentioned another one that's highly interesting to us is in the rail space, the ability to have much more comprehensive connectivity, especially around safety systems and surveillance. Same thing, we can put something on heavy freight locomotives that give you that ability to have remote operations, better situational awareness. So we're really excited about those sectors as we start to expand the product portfolio.
Yeah, and Ron, are there any markets that you're looking forward to as far as that growth goes?
So as Tracy mentioned, the government defense market, that's a huge market for us. By the way, there it's not only about products and the performance, but what LEO allows or multi-orbit allows the defense market is to have resiliency in the network. And we saw in the Ukraine-Russia conflict how quickly the Russians brought down whole European networks. That's something that's much harder to do when you're working on a multi-orbit system, like the Stellar Blu terminal enables. And then there are additional markets more in the fixed land mobility area where it would need probably a different terminal, different kind of scale, cost, performance, and a different kind of product. But those markets could also be big once that volume is achieved.
What do you see as the biggest demand from the consumer? I mean, bandwidth is increasing. Now we're talking streaming and video conferences, not just on airplanes, but all mobile activities, whether it's trains, cars. Where do you see the biggest demand?
So it's very simple. People just want the same experience that they have at home, wherever they are, whichever vehicle they are on, whichever plane they're on or boat they're on. You want to have the same experience as they have in their house with a fiber connection. And that's where Satcom is heading these days, to allow that kind of connectivity. And Stellar Blu with the electronically steered antenna technology, the ESA technology, is a game changer in this because it enables all of that to happen.
Like Ron said, it's all about the passenger experience. And yeah, I'll tell you, Jay, if you got a chance to use the system, you'd immediately notice. I mean, the low Earth orbit satellites, they're just scorching performance, very, very responsive. People are sitting there looking at their social media or more advanced websites, and it's just an entirely different experience. And so I think that at-home experience that Ron mentions, it's gone from people wondering whether or not there might actually be Wi-Fi on the flight when they get on board to they expect to roll into the airplane, pop out a couple of devices, and just start doing what they're doing. And so with the ESA, we're able to get the best out of LEO and GEO. I mean, the airplane never goes dark. It's just consistent, seamless performance. And we're kind of excited to be the ones bringing that to the table. Network of networks, right? It's always a good thing.
Yeah, and Ron, you have such a vast network. Can you discuss some of the airlines you're working with and part of the growth strategy going forward as you continue to expand?
Sure. So Gilat doesn't work directly with the airlines. We work with the service providers that support the airlines. We're working today with the likes of Intelsat, SES, Panasonic, which are the large ones. I'm looking also to add some additional service providers, not announced yet. And when you look at the full Gilat offering, now including Stellar Blu, we have the modems in-house that go on the planes. We have the hubs that connect to these modems and the gateways around the world. We have the power amplifiers and auxiliary equipment that support these antennas and terminals, and now we also have the terminal itself. So it's a full, complete infrared connectivity offering for the commercial aviation, for the business aviation, and for the government and defense market as well.
So we've talked about a lot of the synergies between the two of you and the attraction that drew you together. But with that robust group of relationships that you have, especially Ron at Gilat, now that you're a combined entity, what is that secret sauce that you feel you'll have that will differentiate you from your peers?
Jay, looking at Gilat's technology, I think we have one of the market-leading networking platforms today. It was selected by the largest satellite operators, and it really allows efficient use of the satellite resource and definition of multi-service applications, allowing basically a full flexibility by the satellite operators to do what they need to do to achieve the services they want to provide. And what Stellar Blu adds to that is the terminal side connecting to the satellite. And that's where I think if we combine the two together, we can find something interesting to do. Maybe, Tracy, you want to talk about that a bit?
Yeah, for sure. With the Gilat technology coming to the table, we're no longer just building a responsive SATCOM terminal that can switch between networks. Now we can kind of piece the whole thing together and monitor that service end to end, make it very predictable, or make it much more precise. Our competitors aren't going to be able to do that. The competitors that build one-off solutions for disparate networks, now we can put something together that's much more resilient and just delivers a far better experience for the end user.
All right. Now, in fairness, what are some of the hurdles? I'll go to you, Tracy, on the technology side. What are some of the things that has you concerned and that your team is already trying to grapple with going forward?
Yeah, I think our big thing is you brought up new markets, but at the same time, all of that backlog. So for us right now, the biggest constraint we have is scaling up production while at the same time trying to do some new things. We're very focused on trying to get our volume up. Getting above 100 aircraft per month is a big threshold for us to get over. But at the same time, we want to be able to specialize the terminal for like the defense space or make some adaptations for partners like Boeing. So fortunately, we just inherited all of this additional manufacturing and R&D. And so that really helps bolster the story. I've got a lot more toys to play with than I used to.
And Ron, you must be excited to have this partnership because of just that, how much you see this technology helping and the ability that this partnership will help things grow exponentially at some point.
Definitely, we're excited. The electronic receiver antenna technology is something we've looked at for a while. It hadn't matured enough until recent times, and I think Stellar Blu came with a perfect product, the perfect timing for the market, and the possibilities there are really exciting, yes.
I look forward to what this partnership can do for the industry. And I did want to thank you both for joining us and continued success in the future. And hopefully we'll revisit this 6-12 months time and hear about all the successes that you continue to bring us. So thank you, Ron Levin and Tracy Trent of the new combined Gilat entity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jay.
Thanks, Jay.